We are Blast It or Stash It. Yes, I am back. I survived. If you guys didn't know, or anybody didn't know, on the Facebook page, I did post a quick video. If you watch national news, we had a couple fires here, burned out over 2,000 homes in the two towns, approximately I live in. So I had some other pressing issues I had to deal with last week, so I was not on. Luckily, our house was spared in that. It was touch and go there for a while. We were pretty dang close. But my family did lose quite a bit of their homes. My in-laws lost their home. My dad, 3 of my aunts, uncle, and a cousin. If you do want to support them, I do have the GoFundMe down below. That'd be great. Even if you go share that, the shared show gets out there a little bit more. They're just all trying to rebuild right now. They're all safe and sound, but it's trying time, and there's more than just my families that are affected by the whole thing. It's pretty damn crazy. But let's talk about some comics. But before we do that, let's talk about the T-shirts. You can go to Teespring. Where's my Teespring shirt? There it is. You can go to Teespring, get out these cool T-shirts. The Pope Can Joe, the Thunderlust shirt. Discovery Bay says, "Good evening, all."
With shaking bacon.
Jumping in here. And if you don't catch this video, you can always catch us in the audio podcast. We have all that stuff over there as well. I download the audio from this, and you can listen to it on the go, on your commute to work, or wherever you got to go. Maybe you're going to get your happy ending somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe listen a little blast of the fact of getting your happy ending. That's a little creepy, but whatever. How we do it here. Spoiler warning: we do talk about story plot points. Look like Theodore Roosevelt's joined us in the chat now. Walk softly, carry a big stick. Let's jump into some comic books. Hopefully Mike might be able to jump in here in a little bit too. You want to start us out on a book, Joe? You want to talk about a particular book this week?
I don't know. Do we want to blast something, or do we want to stash something?
I don't know. I did not get my DC books.
Oh,
I got one DC book, and that was it.
Which one did you get? We'll spoil that one.
I didn't even read that book, and that was Detective Comics 1027.
Hey, let's talk about Detective Comics number 1027.
You go right ahead. I'll open it up and I'll flip through it as you're talking about it.
So this is like everything else DC's been doing here lately, where they just jam-pack a bunch of writers and a bunch of stories in here. And there's a bunch of stuff that's supposed to have a lot of meaning. By the way, hey, Double S, thanks for swinging by, brother. Love you. Like the beer mug. Oh, thank you, Big Red One. Boom. So, yeah. This is a bunch of homage stories. Some of them are pretty good, and some of them are really, really bad. Like, really just horribly bad. But the one that I liked in here was the Silver Ghost one. It kind of took us back to the golden age of comic books about, a gumshoe, you see, and he wants to be a vigilante like all the other Cape Crusaders. And then he shows up to, like, Acme to bust his first big thief as this, vigilante. And there was Batman. He's like, screw it, I'm going home. And quits. It was funny. It was satirically funny, and I really enjoyed that one. There were some other ones in here that were okay, but they seem to be focusing a lot more on the Bat family stuff here lately. Of course, we get something with Alfred in here because that's still on our hearts. But all in all, I had to go with this with all the various covers. I don't know, with Halloween right around the corner, that just was like extra spooky, and I liked it. Plus, the back cover is really cool too. So yeah, so for the majority, so I guess the question is it a blast or is it a stash? Well, unfortunately, I have to blast this. There was just more stories in here that I just really didn't care about. That didn't really seem like a Batman story to me. You could have stuck anybody else in them, and you would have got the same outcome. So for the most part, besides maybe one or two of the stories, that's my review. Did anybody out there read this? If you did, let us know. Am I missing something? Maybe I misread this story. I'm willing to go back and take a look at it.
Yeah, it's just one I just did not get time to read. I mean, it's a thick ass book, that's for sure. It's what I think it was a $10 cover price on it too. I picked up the Art Germ cover on that one, but I think it was $9.99, if not more. Yeah, $10. I mean, you get a lot of content, I guess, for $10, but is it worth it? I don't know. I'm going to find out. I'm going to try to read some of this tonight after the show for sure.
Well, let me know which story you liked in there.
Okay, I will do that. I want to talk about a book that there were actually a few independent books I really liked this week. One of them was by Chip Zdarsky, and that's Stillwater. Did you read Stillwater, Joe?
Yes, I did.
This was really interesting. So the whole story is this one guy, he loses his job, and his buddy takes him out. Am I thinking the right story? Takes him out drinking. Do they go drinking? I got double check now. They do go out drinking, right?
They go out to a bar drinking.
Yeah. And they get him all drunk. And then the next day, that guy gets his ass beat by the bouncer too. But the next day, he gets a letter saying that his aunt had died and he'd had this inheritance. He was supposed to go to Stillwater. But the weird thing is nobody knows what Stillwater. There's no sign for Stillwater. They can't find it. And all of a sudden, they just kind of show up on Stillwater. And it's a really weird town. And they get pulled over by a cop right before they get in, but he kind of lets them go. Kind of like, okay, you know what? Fine. I'm being kind of nice. I'm going to let you go on in. And they find out some weird things, though. This is two kids up on this building, and they're fighting or playing around. And one kid falls and dies right there in the middle of the road. And the one guy's visiting and runs over and says, hey, this kid's dead, needs help. And the kid gets up and kind of just takes off.
And everybody
realizes,
like,
yeah. And it doesn't faze anybody else but those two guys. And they're wanting to get out of there. The doctor ends up telling him he's trying to hint at something, say, hey, you need to get out of here while you can, kind of thing. And they go out and start causing problems. And then the cop comes back, ends up beating their ass up, takes him out of town, ties him up, and ends up blasting his buddy in the face, killing him. And he says, now, essentially the whole storyline is that if you're inside this town, you can't die. But if you're outside that town, you die. And that guy's already said he's wasted 1 minute of his life outside of that town. He's 1 minute older because he had to take those guys out of town to teach them a lesson. I thought it was an interesting concept. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. The story moved along pretty well. It has me hooked enough. I think I want to pick up issue 2. So this is a stash for me for sure, for Stillwater. What'd you think of that, Joe?
Yeah, this was good. Also, we find out the aunt was actually the mother. And
right, yeah.
Our guy that loses his job is actually from Stillwater. She's like, welcome home. Yeah, big twist, right? Great stuff. I liked this. And I'll be honest with you, it's predictable. It was slightly predictable, right? The moment you start reading a comic book and like nobody knows where this little town is and a mysterious letter from a lawyer shows up, it's going to kind of have that Dan Coots kind of feel to it. Mm-hmm. If you've ever read any of his books. And I was like, but luckily I like Dan Coots. He's okay. I mean, he's not Stephen King, but then again, Stephen King can be a little wordy. But this is Dan Coots all the way through. And I was like, oh, creepy little town out in the middle of the woods, weird redneck sheriff. People got problems with outsiders, the whole 9 yards. There's a secret, the whole 9 yards. That's what made this great. And I was just like, I'm on board with this kind of storytelling. I like it because there's so many different ways you could take it from here. And I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, as long as my comic book shop has it, I'll be picking it up. So if he's watching, you can put this in a pool for me. Real quick, let me hit up the chat real quick. We have Family United Comics in the room. He says, what's up, folks? What's up, homie? Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. We also got Samuel David. He wants to say hello to everybody. Hello, buddy. Good to see you here. Always happy to see you. I need to pick up Stillwater. Joe said, at best, it looked predictable. It was, but it's that good kind of predictable, and they can still take it in other directions. But you kind of knew that there was going to be like some sort of secret in the town, and the secret's always people don't die or everybody's already dead, one or the other, right? Those are the big secrets in these little redneck towns. So let's see where that goes.
Yeah, very much like a Twilight Zone, or what's that British version of that?
Outer Limits?
No, it's Black Mirror. Black Mirror.
Black Mirror too. Yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of. Also, let's see here. Family wants to know if we read Firepower. Did you read Firepower?
I did. I actually read it when it my comic store got the first 5 issues in a trade, and they loaned it to me. That was before the single issues came out. That's by Robert Kirkman. That's his new book.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's kind of like an Iron Fist kind of thing, where a white guy goes in essentially into this Asian culture, and he kind of has the power, just like Iron Fist kind of way.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you? So at the back of this book too, they had a preview of the re-release of the Walking Dead series in color. Have you read Walking Dead at all?
No, I'm actually, and I hate to say the chat's going to go crazy on this one. I've never seen a single. Well, I take that back. I saw one episode one time, but I was doing a crossword puzzle. I'm old, and
you got to get the brain sharp.
In the background. That's my only connection to Walking Dead.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Walking Dead. I have issues, I think 99 through the last issue. I do want to go back and get the other issues. I guess this is a way for me to go back and get 1 through 98 to have in my collection. But they're colored. They're not going to be black and white. It's kind of a money grab, I think, on one part from Image Comics, but I'm falling into the trap too. So
hey, man, you're not selling out. You're buying in, right?
I guess so. But I mean, they have like a crap ton of variant covers for it too, and it's like
they did the blind bag thing not too long ago. But yeah.
So
that was, we did a DC, we did an independent. I'll do a Marvel.
Do a Marvel.
Let's do a Marvel. Let's show this guy. Let's see what we got here. Do we want to go ahead and hit up Did you read Amazing Spider-Man: The Sins of Norman?
No, I did not. I wasn't able to get that book.
I sent you a private message to read that.
You did, but I told you I wasn't able to get my hands on it either.
So failing me.
I know.
Did you read Iron Man #1?
I did read Iron Man #1. It wasn't on my pull list to pick up, but I ended up buying it.
Let's talk about Iron Man #1. First off, Alex Ross, why you would be watching the show, I don't know, but thank you for these beautiful covers. Legitimately, they're hot. However, your writer needs to go back to writing school. This was bad. I'm sorry, I'm blasting this. I know we got a lot of Iron Man fans out there, but it's not about the character, right? We're here, we're talking about the story and the story itself. I thought this was very 2020. I think it's the best way to put it. So basically, if you don't know, Iron Man gets tired of being the tech guy and the rich guy. So what does he do? He buys out of a company at, I don't know, 65 million, 65 billion, 65 trillion. Doesn't matter. More money than any of us will see in the rest of our life. Separates himself from technology and everything else going on. And why does he do it? Because he wants to. Also, he hooks up Wildcat. So him and Wildcat are hanging out at one point, and he's talking about himself. And this just irritated me, because this is how you know that just somebody ignorant's writing. I'm sorry. He's sitting there talking about himself. Iron Man, guess what? He identifies as a man. It's kind of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The recipe's in the title, Iron Man, right? And he's like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. And she's like, well, I hear a whole lot of man talk. And it's like, yeah, because he's talking about himself. That happened in this book. And I'm just like, I kind of miss the slightly alcoholic, funny, sarcastic Iron Man. Instead, I got this moping Keanu Reeves sitting on a bench feeding the pigeons, sad person all the time, and it's annoying. Although we do have a new villain. Now, I like smart villains, your genius level villains. They always seem to come up with the more creative ideas. So we literally have a guy who somehow or another created lightning within a capsule. and I'm sure you've heard of the old joke, catching lightning in a bottle. I don't know. Maybe I'm just drawn to that, but an energy source that can fit inside of a capsule, that's interesting to me. I want to read more about that. And honestly, that's my only hook on this book as of right now.
Yeah, again, this wasn't on my pull list just because they just relaunched Iron Man. How many times this past year, 2 years? Yes.
2 years. We've watched it 3 times. The only one that beats it is Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, whatever we're calling her now.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just not on board with it. But again, I didn't have a whole lot of Marvel to read this week, so I went and just grabbed it off the shelf. I do like Alex Ross Timeless. I think it's a Timeless variant is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome. I dig those a lot. I do this page here. I think this is an homage to. I actually have the Invincible Iron Man number. I can't read it back there. I have like one of those wood plaques. Looks like a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of them. So it's an homage to one of the covers on older Iron Man book. I thought that was kind of cool. But that's about all I really liked about the whole book. The art was pretty good throughout. It was clean. I like that. I didn't like the whole social media thing. I thought that was a little weird. It was like maybe like he's hip. He's
again. It's 2020, right? So that's a thing, right? You got to show that now.
But overall, nah. Am I going to pick up issue 2? No, I am not at all. So. Oh man, I got a corner ding on my Alex Ross Timeless variant. Oh well, good thing I didn't like it.
Real quick, our chat is popping tonight. Family says, "Shoot, I'm about to rewatch The Walking Dead again." Nice. Let's see, doing a crossword puzzle. Classic Joey. Yeah. I also had reading glasses on just to throw that in.
Yeah, you had a nice tea there with him.
The Outer Limits was really cool. I could do an entire show on just the Outer Limits because their budget was so small back then, but their team was so creative. It was so much better. Let's see here. How about those Alex Ross covers? Right? How about those Alex Ross covers? Those things are hot. See what else we got going on here. Are you guys skied for the nullified covers coming in December? I've been looking at them. I haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet. I'm more of I promised myself, I would kind of lay off the whole cover buying thing. Let's see here. The writer of the new Iron Man said in Marvel YouTube channel that he wants to take Iron Man back to basics, whatever that means. Yeah, I'm not sure. He was always rich and always popular. So I don't. You know what? I will say one thing on a positive besides the villain thing. It was cool to see the old school Iron Man suit. That was kind of interesting for like a second. But if that whole Wildcat character wasn't there, or I don't know, was cool, then I would probably read some more. And last but not least, you guys digging the new Static Shock Origin? I'm not sure which box that was. I didn't check that one out yet. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't have it either.
All right, what do you got, Bubba?
Let's talk about Thor number 7, and we get a new Thor in this book too. So Thor ends up throwing his hammer down to Oklahoma in the middle of the farm. I guess
it's where Little Asgard was back in the day.
Yeah. So this is the second time that's been there too. And this farmer finds it out there, and he's calling a number that's on the side of Mjolnir. Did you actually call that number, Joe?
I did.
I did too. I have it here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go to play it real quick.
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
This farmer starts, he dials his number up. You don't know who he's talking to at first. And also you realize it's Tony Stark. He's like, how the hell did you get my number? And he kind of like, well, it's right here. And so the number's all out there. Mm-hmm. And so here, I'll call it right now.
Now, the funny thing is that's actually a playback to Rico.
Yes, this is Iron Man. However, due to some big blonde jerk, I no longer use this number. But hey, nice try anyway. For all things Tony Stark, please visit www.tonystarkironman.com and try and stay safe out there, yeah? I'm busy enough as it is.
So I really thought that was cool. I like when comics are able to connect outside the book. It has a different types of media and stuff. And it makes it more of that real world kind of feel to it. But he does have a conversation with God, what's his name? Horsehead.
Beta Ray
Bill about Century being
Billy Ray.
Man.
He looks like he can have a redneck accent to me.
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah,
maybe he has no lips though. How can he talk like that? And so he's having a chat with Beta Ray Bill, and essentially he's asking him to be his kind of right hand man. Kind of be there with him as he's ruling. He's not really divulging what he saw yet. He's still kind of keeping that back in his memory of the Thanos thing. But he's talking about Mjolnir being almost like too heavy to wield anymore. It's like he's becoming unworthy again. And I think that's why he chucked it down to where little Asgard was. And then all of a sudden the number changes, and then it says, "Pick me up." And that farmer who initially found it ends up picking up Mjolnir and wielding it and becoming the new they even give him a name in here. I don't remember.
Well, his name's Adam Aziz.
Yeah, I don't know. But so just like in the movie, when Thor grabbed Mjolnir at the end when he's fighting Thanos, all of a sudden his beard gets braided, right? Because of the power of Mjolnir, I guess. Mm-hmm. So this guy here, his tattoos change because of the power of Mjolnir to these very Viking-esque kind of Asgardian tattoos. I thought that was kind of funny. But overall, I thought this was great. We're going to see who this new character is. Is he going to be a character that's going to stick around for a while, or is he just going to wield Mjolnir for a little while and then be one and done kind of character? But yeah, we definitely do see him in the next issue while Thor's eating some sandwich, getting his ass kicked outside. I'm not really a big Thor fan either, but all this Thor talk everywhere I watch has me thinking I'm missing out now.
Yeah,
I've turned a lot of people on to Thor just because, it's Kate's. Kate, like as a double S, Kate's is killing it.
Yeah.
So, really, Kate's can almost do no wrong, and so which is kind of cool. The other little Easter egg in here, let me find a page, when he's talking to Beta Ray Bill about picking a weapon out.
Mm-hmm.
There are two of the weapons in there. So there's the from Donny Cates' other stories. There's the sword from Big Country or God Country, and then the axe from Tomahawk or the Tomahawk. Right. So that was kind of a cool little Easter egg. So, but what did you think of Thor?
I liked it, and you took away all the Easter eggs I liked.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For who is Mr. Adam Aziz? He's a character. Like he's existed before.
Oh, has he?
Yes. Actually, he's existed twice. Once in Spider-Man #2. Mr. Aziz or Adam Aziz was the guy that owned the pizza shop.
Okay.
He's not the same guy in this comic book, but I just thought that was funny because it's the same guy. But I don't want to spoil it because we do know this person. He was a henchman for a known villain.
He was.
Yeah.
You got to reveal that. You can't just say that and not follow through.
No. I can do that. Watch that just happened. So anyway, I really like this. So, like, Thor knows something bad's going to happen. His heart's really heavy. He was asking a bunch of stuff that happened in the Guardians of the Galaxy where they tried to bring Thanos back using his brother. So that was really cool how they connected that story because that made sense of why Beta Ray Bill would automatically be there and why he's involved in this entire thing. I'm not like I know there's a lot of hype for Beta Ray Bill. I've just always kind of seen him as a secondary character. I'm not like huge into him. He talks. He's basically a horse-faced Thor. Like that's pretty much. He's not as cool. But other than that, it's cool to see them two together. Like I get, right? What else happened in this book? I really like this whole coming of Thor thing that we've been kind of hinting at, or not Thor, but Thanos. That's going to be really cool, especially since we have Null right on top of it too. So we're taking the two famous villains that we all really like, and we're just either one of two things are going to happen. We're going to have back-to-back events, or we're just going to have some major epic thing where Null and Thanos battle it out, which that would actually be kind of sick, stupid too. So I'm kind of looking forward to either one of those. I'm okay with, because these other characters that they tried to, like the celestial messiah veggie person, they tried to make that a badass villain, and that was just dumb. It's just dumb. Before we move on, let's see here. Yeah, you got to go with Kate's. Yes, anything Kate's does, I'm probably going to give it more of a shot than anything else. Like, I don't even care about the art half the time, but the art in that was good too. Double says, let's see, your family says that mug is so dope. Thank you very much. I actually got this while I was in the Army, and I'm starting this thing where I'm drinking out of tin and copper cups now, because same reason why I do crossword puzzles. I'm getting old. Double says, Kate can do circles around Todd McFarlane story-wise. You know what? I'll be honest. When it comes to story-wise, I'm probably more of a Kate fan, although I don't know. It just depends on what Todd McFarlane's writing. Like Spawn was good in the beginning, and then it just got all like weird. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the only thing story-wise. Yeah, I got you. And last but not least, Double S says, yeah, Joey, Null, Thor, and Black Winter meet somehow, right? Just have a book where those three are just battling it out. I want to know more about this Black Winter character, and if it's actually tied to the Black Winter box from the Silver Age of comic books. It was actually a powerful device. If you do a Google search for top 10 epic Marvel weapons or strongest Marvel weapons, the Winter box is in there, and I want to know if that has something to do with it, because that could have been the connection. I'm sorry, I'm taking a lot of time.
No,
what
you're
you got
fine.
going on, Dave?
No, it's because I said I have a crap ton of books, but I didn't get a chance to read a whole lot, so we're good. We're half an hour in and just hitting about perfect too. So it's definitely not going to be able to cover all the books that I didn't read. We want to talk about it. I think I brought up Thor. We want to talk about that.
Talk about something. Dead Day. Let's talk about Dead Day.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try to get a thumbs down. So, remember, the name of the show is Blast or Stash It. So the number one question is, if you knew it was going to be bad, why did you get it? Well, what would we blast? Right? Yeah. So sometimes you just pick up a turd to throw in the trash. Okay, and that's Dead Day. First off, I'm sorry. I think it's called what's the made up term that they use today? Toxic masculinity. Maybe I'm that guy. I don't know. Notice I called it a made up term. All right, so this lady, just to give you a rundown if you haven't read the story, and please let me know if you think this is weird in the chat. This lady right here dated this guy when he was alive. He's dead now. When he died, she married another guy, popped out a couple of kids, lives the Karen life in suburbia, living the dream. On Dead Day, everybody, or a lot of people, rise from the dead. Her boyfriend comes back and says, hey, we got to go kill the guy that killed me. And she's like, hell yeah, right? So they take off. Husband's okay with this. Like, he's no argument, no fight, no, you're my wife. You're not taking off with your dead boyfriend. Like, nothing. Totally cool. So then they go, and all of a sudden she turns into like Jenny's Got a Gun video, right? And he's trying to get him, the guy that killed him. They finally link up with the guy, and this is where the story picks up. They finally link up with the guy that killed him, right? And he's like trying to get some deep meaning of, why did you kill me? Why did you kill me? And it was straight robbery, and he just wanted the money. Like, that would have been obvious. Like, he just wanted the money. That's why he popped you in the back of the head. So this happens. It's not what he wants. Goons come rushing in, and they shoot up keep this in mind, they shoot up the dead guy, right? They shoot a bunch of bullets into him. Pew, 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 right? Put a bunch of bullets in him. They run away to go back to her husband's house. She's barking orders like, open the door. We need to get him some help. He's dead. Well, He's already dead. Why is this in the story? I don't know. Don't know. But that's what happened, and that's where we're left off. Her son, oh, no, I'm sorry. We found out that he may actually be the father of their son. Because it wasn't stupid enough. Who, by the way, is out hanging out with his friend with some cult out in the middle of the woods that they thought an orgy was going to happen at with dead bodies. Yeah, this is horrible. This is so bad. This is what happens when you put writers on a time crunch and they need to get a paycheck. This is, and they slacked off all week long. Like that's, you're welcome. You didn't have to buy
it. So yeah, I've called this book names, but my new name for it is this should be The Zombie and the Cuck. That's the name for this book here, because like you said,
it's a simp's a word people are using, right? Would he be defined as a simp? Like I don't know. What are the kids saying today?
If you know what I thought it was cuck, but maybe it's simp. I don't know. I don't know what simp is. A guy. I think it's a guy that's just trying to be super nice to try to get the girls.
Apparently, he's trying to stay married. I guess I don't know why.
But I mean, yeah, the story has it's hokey. I'm gonna still pick it up. I'm gonna finish it out. I want to know what's going on. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna waste my $4 every time it comes out just to pick it up. I'm not saying it's a great book. I'm not saying you should go waste your money on it, but I'm probably gonna pick up at least the next couple issues. I think it's only a miniseries. I don't think it's like a ongoing series.
I don't see how it could be. The zombie's dying.
Yeah. They have to go back. I think they had 24 hours, right, to do the whole dead day thing. Chamber is totally a simp. So, yeah, but we also have this other guy too. I think it's this book here where one guy comes home and his wife and kids are murdered upstairs. He's like, man, I didn't think enough blood come from those guys. That was at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, that was I was like, that's so corny. Like the dialogue in it's not even like I get it. I can writing dialogue's hard. I get it because you want to explain everything, but you want it natural at the same time. But this is just cliche-ish things to say. It's just like what? Get out of here.
Then we also had a preview to Miles to Go. Did you read that?
Well, the thing at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand any of that. I was just like, yeah, I've been hit with the stupid stick one too many times. I need to take a break.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up. It's probably 5 issues long. I'll probably pick up the other 2 issues. Not saying it's great. I'm not saying that that if I miss an issue, I'm not going to be butthurt about it. You know, I'm not going to go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm missing that.
You know, sometimes it's easier to deal with the devil, you know, I guess. If you know it's going to be bad, it's easier to blast it.
Yeah.
Real quick, in the chat, we got Dead Day. Most definitely a blast of the week and so far. Read the first issue, never picked up issue 2. Ha, smiley face. Samuel Davis said, dude, that's just wrong. Her husband sounds weird. Right? Total snip. Samuel David also thought it was funny that the zombie's dying. Double S says it should be called Dead Book.
The other independent book I read this week, I'm not sure if you picked up this one called Heavy. Did you buy Heavy?
Mm-hmm.
So, in this story here, I mean, you look at it, you think Punisher. I mean, that's the first thing I thought about when I saw this book. So, essentially, what happens was when you die, you know, you can go to heaven or hell. They don't say heaven or hell. They call it different things. You know?
The other place, yeah.
That's what they're talking about. Or you can go to this limbo place where you're not bad enough to go to hell. You're not good enough to go to heaven, but you can work jobs in order to make your way to heaven. So this guy and his girlfriend get killed by the opposing mob's family, just like kind of like Punisher, you know, very, very Punisher-esque in there. But she ends up going to heaven. She ascends to heaven. He's stuck in heavy. He's trying to do all these jobs. It's kind of almost like a a time Back to the Future kind of thing meets Punisher, where he has to go back in time and kind of kill people and set different dimensions right. So there's a little weird things with that, like with Da Vinci. He has to, Da Vinci likes to have his toes licked by his slaves.
Yeah, he made a bunch of
penal stuff showing or whatever. And this guy who's the heavy, he talks about different people in this limbo. The heavies are the people who kill people to try to improve their way in life. He's really good at what he does. But the reason he hasn't ascended yet is because he hasn't taken on a partner. They say, well, if you really want to go to heaven and see your wife,
they got to get the body count up, and getting a partner is a twofer.
Yeah. So that's the thing. He's got to be able to continue to work his way up in order to see his wife in heaven. He sees hallucination of his wife. He talks to her in his head.
Very much like Punisher's done.
Yeah, very much like Punisher's done. Yeah, for sure. And then he goes, if it's fine, if it'll get me that much quicker to see my wife, I will take on a partner, even though I like kind of working on my own. And this body of people say, okay, you don't get to choose who your partner is. If you're going to do this, you're going to do it how we say it. And we're going to give you the partner that we're going to give you, and you have no say about it, and you have to work with this guy. And he says, fine. He agrees with it. And then the guy that shows up to be his partner is the guy that killed him and his wife. So now he has to work with his wife's, their murderer, their killer, in order to get to where he wants to see his wife. I thought that was a great concept. What a great twist that was, and how this is going to play out now. I mean, he's got to make sure the guy survives too, because the guy, I don't know if he get killed in here. Can he get killed outside of limbo? I think they talk about that.
They kind of mentioned it. We'll talk about that in a second, but yeah.
So I thought, what a great concept. What a great way to kind of bring some conflict in there. Like, how am I supposed to work with the guy that killed the person I love in order to see the woman I love, see the person I love? So interesting concept. I loved it. They did get a little bit political in here. I was kind of like,
I thought it was fair because they did both sides.
They did.
Like they hit, we have a two-party system here in the States, and they hit up both sides. I don't think they were siding towards one or the other.
But yeah, I'm glad I didn't let that sway me, though.
Yeah.
Where it didn't sway me enough to where I go, I don't want to read. Screw this.
Yeah.
Too political, too topical as of what's going on. But overall, I thought this was a great story. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm definitely picking up issue 2. That's by Vault Comics.
Yeah. Again, this is another one where if my comic book store, as long as it keeps coming in, I stopped ordering comic books online because I don't get them in time for the show because of where I live. So I just kind of, as long as my comic book picks them up, I'm going to keep buying this. I really like this. This is smartly done, and it's smartly done in a almost meta fashion. I'm not going to get too big brained with this, much like this book did. It has to explain why they do what they do, right? So they basically broke it down into 5 basic jobs that you can do in purgatory. They took the idea of purgatory and they made it a bustling city, whereas most of the time it's a very boring place where you're just waiting. I've seen everything from train stops to villages, whatever the case may be. Purgatory's always been this boring place. This place is kind of kick ass. Like, a lot's going on there. You have some people that take care of social media, run interference, have bad ideas and trends. It almost seemed like a regular place. And then when it kind of dealt with the whole time dimensions and how this thing works, I really thought it was very smartly written, because you could eat up a lot of panels and a lot of words trying to explain why they're able to travel back, or why multiple things are going on in a timeline, and why it's getting all weird, right? Legends of Tomorrow, was that the name of the show? Yeah. Legends of Tomorrow, every episode they had to spend a huge amount of time in the episode explaining it. And this, I really liked it. It's like, hey, every now and then time runs so fast that something kind of hiccups and change, right? That's the concept of a dimension. Then we got to send somebody back and do it. Like, I've had to kill 8 Hitlers today. And I was like, oh, okay, I relate that. And I was like, but wouldn't that change the timeline? And then she immediately comes up with this great thing. She was like, well, the butterfly effect will sort itself out in the timeline. And I was like, I have no idea what that means, but for some reason that makes sense. Like I was just like, it wasn't a second thought. I just kept on reading. Like there was no questions. There was no, that's not how time works or anything like that. I was like, yeah. I also like the fact that it's meta, that it does make fun of itself. It's a story that makes fun of itself. It referenced other movies from like the 80s and stuff like that in here as kind of a this is like this film back in the day. The first page, when you open it up, it's a grown man punching a teenager in the face. And I was just like, God knows I've been there. I've wanted to do that. Like, I've met some kids and I'm just like, ooh, I will go to jail today. Right? So yeah, I like this. One, it makes fun of itself. Two, it tells a story. And three, it doesn't get all bogged down with the explanation of why what's going on is going on. I don't really care. I want funny. I want some, oh shit, that just happened. And I want a twist. Like that's all I want from these kind of comic books. And that's what I got from this. So definitely a stash for me.
Yeah, what tells everything about his character, like you said, at the very first pages when he's going and beating up that high school kid, and he punched him in the face. He says, "That'll teach you to hit people who can't fight back." Hello, that kid is no way going to be able to fight back against him.
Yeah, but he's a heavy.
Yeah. But I was confused by the very, very first panel. It says, "This is a story about boys," and I thought, "Whoa, where is this going?" Because he doesn't really show. You can look at it there, and it looks like two dudes necking. I can't tell, but that's what it looks like to me. And I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute, where is this going?" I don't know.
If there.
I have no
story about the boys. You know, your boys, the boys.
Not that kind of boy. I wasn't. Sorry. No.
I'm sorry. Out your way. The guys.
Samuel Dibb said, "Oh yeah, that ending was so cool and unexpected." You said another weird book, but I do like this one since it's the whole Punisher vibe.
Yeah.
Double S even liked it. Says Heavy was a cool read. I'll be picking up issue 2.
Cool.
So it looks like it's kind of consensus across between us here and people watching that was a good book this week.
I think Mikey liked it too. He said he either read it or he was about to read it, but no, he said he read it and he liked it too.
Mikey likes it.
All right, am I talking about stuff now?
You're talking about stuff now. I think I'm gonna make a shirt that says Mikey likes it. Kind of base it off that old. Was that a cereal? Is that what that was?
Yeah, it was a cereal.
Was it Life?
Life cereal, yeah. Mikey will eat anything.
Double S. It says necking. Did you get that word from an episode of Happy Days, Huey? It was kind of weird because I was talking to. We have hosts in our park. The people the volunteers, and they come in. This one host we have there, he's like in his 70s, and he was telling me a story today when he was a teenager about with a girl up at the makeout spot, and we were talking about necking. So that's why that word's popped into my head right now, because we were talking.
You should have asked him if it was consensual. It was a different time.
It was, but I don't think yeah. Go ahead there, Joe. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Do I want to go more? Let's go DC. All right. So Batman number 99. Did you at least pick this up?
I my comic store didn't get DC this week.
Well, wait, is it Rogue City?
No, it was the other one, Astral.
Okay, you need to leave that one, and you need to go back to Rogue City.
We like
Astro too, right?
Here, so not everybody got their stuff.
I understand. DC shipping, by the way, it's not the comic book shop's fault. DC shipping right now is just a disaster since they went with somebody else. But, things, they'll figure it out. You didn't miss much in this one. This is basically just a family reunion. First off, I had to get that cover. And again, I stopped cover buying. And yet, I'm still cover buying.
Yeah, here you are, cover buying.
So I've been trying to collect the 1 in 25s. Like, that's the goal. And then I saw this, and I was just like, that's actually a pretty good picture of him.
I got to zoom in on you here.
You go on and get yourself some.
Clown Hunter.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I picked that up. So we get a picture of Clown Hunter throwing somebody off a building. So apparently he doesn't mind dropping bodies. Oh, by the way, back in this comic book, Clown Hunter's origin story.
Which is that one? That the Detective Comics?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier.
Okay, so they did the same thing with
Yes,
Punchline.
Clown Hunter's origins in there. Or at least I should say that's my spec. I can't confirm it because we don't know Clown Hunter's real name, but man, it would make sense. Anyway, so yeah, cool Nightwing cover. Not a big Nightwing fan. I don't know why he would name himself after Batman's plane, but okay, I'll go with it. What else? So big Batman family reunion thing, and again, another one of his little speeches about how he needs to do better and we need to stop the city and everybody needs to spread out. Here's the plan, yada, yada, yada. They do the plan and they're going to go do the plan. So I don't think it's Batman that needs to do better. They were all there. That shouldn't have happened. They should have just went out and did it, but whatever. I'm not going to beat up on it. So then we get down to where Batman's going to go after the Joker. Harley Quinn shows up with a shotgun because it's a Jenny's got a gun moment. And she's going to go in there and she's about to drop the Joker. And Batman's like, we don't do that. And she's like, F you, Batman. I'm going to do it. I don't think she really said F you. But she was like, every time you have the opportunity to do it and you don't do it, somebody needs to step up. So, he throws a batarang or something and knocks her out or whatever the case may be. He goes inside and Joker's there with a Batman suit on, with a gun to his head. Oh, also he reanimated Alfred because we can't get enough of Alfred because Alfred's everything now. But I couldn't help it, and it saved the comic book for me. Otherwise, I would have been blasting this week. And I hate to say it, first off, not a bad story. Like I should preface it that because we get a lot of insight of why the Joker's doing this and what the plan is. I don't want to spoil it, but so much. But the Joker in a Batman costume remind me of the Pops, that where it was the Joker inside of a Batman. It looks like that, and it just made me laugh.
It doesn't look like it fits him correctly.
Yeah, it's all weird. Yeah. So I was like, that's funny. Okay, fine. And this is just like any other comic book series or short stories. You always get that in-between issue is what I always call it. You always get that kind of stagnant issue where you just kind of need to put out some information because something's going to happen. Either something has happened or something's about to happen. So you kind of need some relevant information in there. So I think that's all this was at this point, is just kind of a filler issue, the in-between issue. So I can't blast it for that until I see the next issue. So unfortunately, I have to stash it this week. In the comics, we got Neckin. Oh, no, we already talked about that one. Let's see, Life Serial. That was the serial. But that Nightwing cover is so cool, and I picked up the Clown Hunter cover too. Yeah, I had to get them both myself.
Did you? I didn't get a chance to finish reading it. In fact, I don't have any more books that I finished reading. So, did you read Immortal Hulk #0?
No.
Trying to figure out. It looks
I
like
read Immortal Hulk #37.
Yeah, I have that one too, but I didn't get a chance to read that one. It looks like to me that they're older stories and they are retconning some stuff in there, with Bruce Banner's dad and stuff like that. So it has newer parts in it. Then it goes back to an old comic book, and it's kind of replaying how that worked. And then it goes back to a newer story, how that connects in, and then an old comic book, and then a newer. And so
that would make sense if you actually read this. We'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to finish reading all the way through. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of Hulk's history and backstory other than the gamma rays, and Hulk gets, Bruce Banner gets mad, he turns into the Hulk. So I don't have a whole lot of extensive knowledge on Hulk's comic books, So going back and reading some older ones were kind of cool. I think that was kind of cool. I like how they retcon and how they make. And Donny Cates says it all the time too. He'll take, oh, this is the sword that was actually back here, and so now now that kind of connects in with the story that's 20 years old. I really dig how they're able to do that, and I think that's what this is doing here as well. But I got to finish reading it, so I don't know. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I like how that connects in with the older, with the new, and the Green Door and his dad and Immortal Hulk. So overall, it's a stash. It's $5. I mean, it's a pretty big book, though, pretty thick, hefty book. But what happened in Immortal Hulk this week?
Yeah, I have no idea. So I read this. I read this, and I know now all right, so the leader, right, who's supposed to be big brain villain, is now a supernatural villain, which kind of in itself is a conflict, but whatever. He takes over a body of a scientist and Rick Ross at the same time. Honestly, I'm so confused at this. This is taking a lot of time, energies, and efforts to make sense of it. Because and now, mind you, I haven't broken the storyline. I've been reading this since issue 1, right? And the last 2 issues, I'm like, I don't understand why this is what I'm not getting it. Like I'm just not picking it up. Now, normally for me, if I'm not picking something up, well, easy, I'll just make it up. I can do what I want. I'm rich. In this case, I can't even throw money at it to figure it out. I'm like, what? I don't. So there's, for some reason, the leader now is in hell. Now, we had the whole story of why he was and how many times he had to die and all that, which was all just garbage. And I was kind of hoping we were past that. Obviously, we're not. We know Bruce Banner's dad is in this hellscape too. I'm going to call it a hellscape because I don't think they ever actually address it as hell. So we'll call it hellscape. The other side of the Green Door, I think, is the right answer. So we know that they're probably connected in some way, and for some reason they want Hulk to come back there. All right, that would be cool if they weren't if Bruce Banner's dad wasn't the one that kicked him out of there. So that would be a conflict. Like, why would, I don't know. And just, for God's sakes, just tell us what the fucking Green Door is already. I'm over this Green Door thing. I'm like, why is this Green Door relative? Just tell us already. Just stop. Also, Gamma Flight did some stuff in here because nobody cares about Gamma Flight. It's basically just Space Alpha Flight. So nobody cares. So, yeah, this is a blast. Cool cover.
I didn't pick up that.
Getting crazy weird.
I can't believe I didn't pick up that timeless variant cover for that one.
Huh. Did anybody? Is anybody? And I want to ask this because I don't know. You know, I've been known to be wrong about things. Rarely. Is anybody else reading Immortal Hulk and you're reading it now and you're like, this is not what I signed up for when I started reading this? Is anybody else feeling this way, or am I just being a jerk?
This definitely taking a twist because really the early issues were almost horror kind of issues, you know, and now it's taken this weird twist where it's moved away from that. So I was going to drop it. I haven't dropped it yet. I may drop it by like issue 40 or something like that. I don't know. We'll see what the next couple issues bring. And if it continues to be bad, oh my God, my voice just cracked. Oh my God, puberty. If it continues to be bad, I'll end up dropping it. Those are all the books that I read this week. I got a crap ton of others that I haven't read. I'll go through my lightning round real quick. Marvel Snapshot starring X-Men. There was a timeless cover for that. I didn't get. I don't know why I chose that one over the Cyclops cover. You Look Like Death, Tales from the Umbrella Academy. So it's Seance. What's his name from the? He's the guy that can talk to the dead people from the TV show. Klaus. Yeah, so it's Klaus.
Love that
Klaus story. The Immortal Hulk, number 37. Giant Size X-Men, I think it's Storm. That's that timeless cover for that one. Picked up that. Haven't read that one yet. X-Force number 12. X-Men number 12. And this one here, I was really interested. I read a little bit of it, but I was so tired. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not reading this anymore. And that's Sun Eater by Dylan Sprouse. If you know who Dylan Sprouse is, him and his twin brother were Nickelodeon actors. He played one of the boys on the Adam Sandler movie Big Daddy. You know?
Yeah, I know.
My own ass. That kid. That's him. That's him.
No shit.
And I thought, oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. And I was just so hard to read. I just said, screw it. I'm not even gonna bother with it, unfortunately.
Whatever happened with the J.J. Abrams kid, whatever his name
Spider-Man?
The Spider-Man story.
I think it just got delayed. But
Some say it's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I did pick up this Batman Adventures number 3 variant. Picked up that guy.
Nice.
And the other back issue book that I picked up this week, it's 2 more issues to go in the issues 1 through 10. That's Swamp Thing number 9. So I got to pick up number 8 and number 1. Those are the 2 I'm missing from that. I picked up a whole bunch of dollar books today too. I was kind of like, you know what? I want to kind of get back to doing something normal after last week and dealing with all this stuff.
Hey, why don't you run through this? Because I'm out of beer and I need to go grab a beer. So run through your dollar book real quick.
I'll run through my dollar books. I'll go through my dollar books real quick. I picked up this. This is a free book. I picked it up at Walmart. It's called Geek. I just picked it up because it has Gal Gadot on there. I'll blow myself up. There we go. Picked up that just because the Gal Gadot photo cover. Ghost Rider number 30. Picked up that guy. Number 33. Number 34. These were, I said, it was 25 bucks for 20 bucks. So, U.S. Avengers number 1. Picked up another copy of that. What the number 6. I got to rebag and board these. The Realm number 2 is like the Walking Dead variant. I got a whole bunch of cosplay covers. One, I went over to my cousin's house and he's a huge Vampirella fan. He doesn't even read comics. He has some Vampirella comics around. So I picked up some Vampirella covers to give to him. The cosplay variants. And there's number 7. Number 8. Southern Comic Geeks in here. Says, what's going on, folks? Number 4. There's a couple Red Sonja cosplays. That's number 12. Number 2. Yeah, did anybody else pick up like the cosplay covers? Let me know in the chat. This was running out of time. Is trying to grab one more book to get that 25 books for 20 bucks. Black Knight number 1 by Zenoscope. Vampirella number 1.
All the perverts get Zenoscope.
I know. This is like a $20 book, but again, too, is somebody going to pay 20 bucks for it? And this is a Red Sonja Virgin variant cover. Vampirella Deja Torres. Vampirella number 5.
Oh, did you say? I'm assuming you did, but Southern Comic Geeks in here? Did you? I'm sorry, I got to be behind.
Number 9, Vampirella number 9. I really like this cover. I thought it was really cool just because of the contrast of the colors. There have been a few other books that came out. I think there was a Spider-Woman cover as well as a Wolverine cover, the same kind of thing. This is Barbarella, I think it's number 9 or number 6. I just really think that's like a $12 book there. The Vampirella book. Deja Torres, Vampirella, and then a Red Sonja number 19. And I think I showed this one already, number 5. So those are all. So if I got 25 of them for $20, so less than $1 a book. Like I said, I'll end up giving some to my cousin just because he's a huge Vampirella fan, just so he can post around his room or whatever he's going to do. So
nice. For
those are all my books. Other book that I picked up this week was weird. I picked it up right before the big fire that hit our town. And I picked up the Prepper's Survival Guide. I started reading that right before the fire hit, where we had to evacuate. And I'm like, oh wow, that was.
It's, as Alanis Morissette would say, isn't that ironic?
Yeah, it is. It is. So, those are the books that I got. You anything else in your
quick run through? I got a couple of things. So, Once and Future, I'm still reading this, even though it's getting kind of predictable, mostly because they're telling the stories that I already know. In this, we're dealing with Beowulf, but they killed Beowulf. So, what happens when you kill Beowulf? Grendel pops up. Who kills Grendel? Beowulf. They killed Beowulf. So now Granny's got to chop off his arm with a chainsaw, which she does. That was actually kind of cool. But what happens when you kill Grendel? Well, his mother shows up, the hag, and now she shows up. So I was like, okay, I see where this is going. I'm starting to. It's kind of like, you ever binge watch something and you start noticing like certain things, and it, let's say like Friends, right? Have you ever binge watched Friends? Episode after episode after episode, you start picking up little patterns in the show, right? This is already doing that at issue 11, and I'm like, okay, I get it. This is this is the format. It's becoming very cookie cutter to me at this point, and I like it, but I'm just like, I could take this and buy something else and have something to talk about, because it's the same thing every week. I still like it. Granny still makes me happy, but we'll see where it goes. Something is killing the kids. Well, we find out bureaucracy, even in bureaucracy, or bureaucrats need to step up and get their hands dirty every now and then. And our bureaucrat in this, our second in charge, is going to break free. Our female character, who's the antagonist in this story, she's always, you're upper management. You're this. I'm in the field. She's one of those people, right? First off, shame on you if you're one of those people that are in the field always complaining about management, because management's hard. Like, it's not all sitting around. It's making sure you get paid in a lot of cases. So keep that in mind. But this dude steps up because he knows what to do. So he's stepping up and he's going to fight the monsters. He's going to die. We all know he's going to die, but he has to die in this situation. One, to save a school full of children. Two, to make sure that some sort of order comes to all of this. I liked that concept because it's easy to make fun of the person in upper management, but nobody wants to do that job because nobody thinks that job's important. But remember, at the end of the day, that stuff needs to happen so people can get paid, taken care of, or whatever the case may be. I liked this story, and I'm still liking this story. And as long as my comic book shop picks it up, I'll keep reading it. I even like the female antagonist in this. She's very gruff, very forward. She doesn't want to play games with people. She just wants to get the job done. I like that. I could talk for an hour on this. I'm not going to. I liked this, but I hate the way that it was written. So in this one, you get the conflict of morals and ethics, as I mentioned over on my channel. I kind of went into deeper view over there. If you kind of want a deeper view on it, it's one of the first Marvel ones I talked about, so that should be easy to find in the little time frame. But just a quick synopsis. They talked about the conflict of, they showed us the conflict of ethics and morals in this, and how they're actually two different things. And I think that's a problem because a lot of people get the two confused. Morals, right, are what we agree on as a society. You, me, Huey, and even sometimes Spectacular Spider Grandpa. We agree that there are just certain things in our society we don't want to happen. Those are morals. Ethics are internal, the things you live by. So in this, we have a group of spider people, is I guess the best thing we're calling it, and they don't like Green Goblin, right? Osborn. They don't like him, and they think that they should just let Sin Eater go take care of business. But see, that's the problem with groupthink, because when groupthink comes together, they're trying to set up a moral, but they think they're acting ethically, and they're not. They're just pushing their will down onto somebody else, because Spider-Man, who has ethics, is going to go save him anyway. I liked this. I don't think they're going to continue on in this direction, because it's very obvious by the writer how this is going to play out. But I'll pick it up. Hopefully, I'm pleasantly surprised in it. So the question is which one should you have, right? Great philosophers have spoken over the years is morals is the difference between good and bad, right? And ethics is the difference between saintly and evil. So pick which one you think you need to live by. Other than that, some other things that I picked up this week. Key week for me. I've just been picking up some keys. I got the Son of Satan, #1. A lot of hype and talk about this. A lot of spec for it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put it in my collection so somebody can be all jelly about it. I went ahead and picked up Masters of the Universe. I've been on an 80s kick lately. So I picked up issue #1 and 13. So the last issue and its newsstand. Yeah. And then issue 1 as well. Excuse me. I got some dust or something. And then picked up Thundercats #1 and 2. So that was super cool. So now I'm looking for Silverhawks. Does anybody remember the cartoon Silverhawks?
I never watched it.
I want that one because I already have Mask and I have G.I. Joe. I have a complete run of G.I. Joe, actually, all the way up to 85. So I have Mask, the key issues there. So all I'm looking for now is Silverhawk, and I can't find that thing anywhere. And last but not least, I had to get my wife something. I picked up Ultraman last week. I reviewed it on this show, which you can always go back and check out. But my wife is she's not a comic book reader. She collects Pops, but she loves Scotty Young covers because they all look like Pops. So I was able to get her a Scotty Young Ultraman cover. And she was like, who's this character? Like, that's the Ultraman. What is this character? And I was like, it's just a monster. Well, what's its name? And I'm like, read the freaking comic book. just read the comic book. But my wife likes big brain books, big brain books. Not my style. So other than that, what is going on in the comic book community?
So real quick, I got sent this. Let me add it to here. Screen share. I'll ask your opinion on this. So over on Cultured Nerd, they're reporting that Henry Cavill signs new Superman film deal. So he had signed on for 3 more roles. New deal to reprise the role of Superman in future DC films. Cavill's future as the Man of Steel has been a source of contention for quite some time, despite Cavill's love and dedication for the role. His portrayal of the character and it has a fair share of criticism after a lackluster performance in Justice League. What do you think of Cavill coming back to his Superman role?
I'm kind of okay with it because when he was doing his standalone as Superman, I thought that was okay. It was an origin story that we already knew. Mm-hmm. They took some creative liberties to it. Fine. But I'm going to tell you the only thing that in Justice League that halfway entertained me was that whole Death of Superman and Resurrection scene where he was fighting everybody. I also liked him against, the whole Batman and Superman where they fought each other. Like, I liked him as that. I don't know. Maybe he was a little too gritty. Maybe I don't know why people are not connecting with this guy playing Superman. He's not going to play it like we know. We already know that. No comic book character ever does. So I don't understand what people's problem is with it. But in Justice League, I'm not justifying the Justice League movie. I thought that was horrible. I'm one of those people that's super excited about the Snyder Cut. I can't wait to get my hands on that to see what it could have been. Does that mean it's going to be better? I don't know, but I at least want to know what because I like Snyder. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's a good director too. So I'm kind of more interested in that. I hope he comes back, and I hope it becomes one of those things where he kind of wins over everybody. Superman's a hard character to make into a movie and to make it good again. Like, because we had Reeves, right? And even and everybody keeps acting like those Superman movies, like everybody loved them. It was great. No, go back and read the critics when they reviewed those movies. They talked shit back then too. It was just it was actually seen as a kids movie at that point. So until Richard Pryor was in one, and he was just there for comedic purposes.
Double S said, "What do you all think that Zack Snyder cut of Justice League? It's not out yet, right? It's not on HBO Max yet, right?"
I don't have HBO Max. I have several other. I don't even know what I have. I gotta go look. But
I mean, it's something I'll definitely be getting a subscription to HBO Max just so I can watch that, whether it just be for that month and then letting it go after that. Because I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see what his vision was of that movie.
This is funny. Whenever I hear of ethics and morals, I think of the movie Election with Monty. I know that movie. Character describes the difference of each. Yes, that's fair. Cheers.
Now, I remember first watching Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is not Superman." I watched it and I was like, I didn't think it was that great. I watched it again last summer, and I thought it was good.
A lot of people kind of. I don't know if it's that we keep wanting that maybe that Bronze Age or even Copper Age Superman is what we think of when we hear about Superman. But if you've been reading Superman from, I'm going to go ahead and say from 2015 to current, right? This seems more like that guy to me.
Yeah.
It's like, and I've reviewed him on the show. I read Superman. And there's always, and sometimes I hate it, sometimes I blast it, sometimes I stash it. It depends on what goes on in the story. But this guy kind of seems, I don't know why everybody's so upset about it. We know the guy has acting chops, right? Because of Witcher.
Yeah.
But then again, 90% of his dialogue was grunting. So I'm not really sure what y'all expect from old Calvin here.
Yeah. What do you think? Red trunks or no red trunks?
I'm thinking black suit. Just go black suit. Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Spider-Man. Black suit. Superman. Be done with it.
I like the contrast of that red and blue. That's just me. But I thought that was interesting because they've said for over a year now, maybe almost 2 years, that Cavill's out. He's no longer Man of Steel. He's no longer Superman. But now it's they're changing their tune a little bit on that, and it could be because of the hype of the Snyder Cut for Justice League.
And the Black Adam movie, as Double S is saying, is a good point too. That's a huge storyline for both Superman and Black Adam.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we can introduce Shazam into that too, and the whole kid meeting, that whole situation continuing as well. They kept talking about making a DC universe, and I think I think what happened, I think this is fair to say. I think Marvel set such a standard, right, that when we watch a superhero movie at this point, we expect the snap. We expect the I love you 3000. We expect these really big emotional ups and downs in a movie when they're still building the universe, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go back and you watch like Iron Man #2, why was that even a thing? Like we didn't need that story.
Yeah. I think DC tried to catch up to Marvel too quick. They wanted to be on the same page as Marvel of having these big epic movies with all these characters in there when they should have just slowed down and just went at their own pace and built that universe versus trying to jump in the universe and then build afterwards.
So, what do you think about the new Suicide Squad movie? You seen the trailers for that yet?
I've seen one trailer for it. I haven't went back and watched it again. I mean, it didn't really show me a whole lot. I mean,
mine showed every character that's going to be in it.
Well, I saw that one where it's just like flash their name up on the screen and then a picture of them.
They're bringing back Polka Dot Man. Now, you'll remember in the first Suicide Squad, they had Rope Man.
Yeah, I am sure a lot of these characters get killed off. Just like in Deadpool 2, where they're going to die quick. They're not going to be in the movie hardly at all.
And you know what the bad thing is? Good, bad, or indifferent. We know we're going to watch it. Even though we watched Harley Quinn, Birds of Chicken Heads fucking die in the theater. We're going to go watch it. You know why? Because we're comic book fans.
Yeah. Remove that. Okay. Anything else before we bounce out of here for the evening?
You been watching anything? We never did, or have you been?
I watched. I got to look at the name of the story of the movie because I forgot. It's Devil something. It's a Netflix movie. The Devil All the Time. I watched that. It's a new Netflix movie.
Is that any good? I saw it and I was like, it has that one kid in it. And I was like,
it has Robert Pattinson as Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Sebastian Stan. So it has a lot of kind of newer characters. I mean, a lot of comic book characters. I have Robert Pattinson playing Batman now. Tom Holland is Spider-Man, and then Sebastian Winter Soldier. I wanted to watch it because I wanted to see them play something outside of a comic book character.
Yeah, because
I've heard Robert Pattinson's, he's pretty all over the board with this stuff. I mean, he's mostly known for Twilight, of course, also known for glowing in the sunlight, but he's actually does quite a bit of different stuff, which is kind of amazing. It's one of those movies that keeps you on your seat the whole time.
Oh,
it kind of, I mean, it brings you up, brings you down, brings you up, brings you down. I mean, and it's a drama movie. There's no humor in it at all, but I thought it was really good. I think Tom Holland did a really good job. Robert Pattinson was creepy and weird.
Nice.
And it was just one of those movies. I'm trying to, you're always waiting for the character to die, right? You know those movies where like, oh my God, here they're going to shoot him in the back of the head this time. It's one of those movies. You're just waiting for that bad thing to happen. And it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It kept me entertained the whole time. I watched it late at night too, so I wasn't going to sleep. So it did what it was supposed to do. I thought it was a really good movie. And it was great. I say again, great seeing him outside of that role. I don't think I've ever seen Sebastian Stan in anything else other than Winter Soldier. And Tom Holland, I don't think I've seen him anything else other than Spider-Man. So it was great to see them pull their drama chops out and be able to put out a good movie.
Yeah, Tom Holland is British, double S. Me and Mike and the couple, we went up and saw X-Mutants.
Oh, the New Mutants?
New Mutants, that's it. Might as well call them the X-Mutants. The movie was not that good. I'm sorry. I know it was. They kept promoting it as this kind of horror movie. It was spotty, kind of all over the weird. It was very 2020. And there was so much they could, but it was still cool. Like visually watching it, they had some really cool things going on. I liked the character Magic, but I thought she was just a little too bitchy. Like in the comic books, reading her, I don't remember her being like a Karen, but in this one, she was definitely a Karen. It was weird. A French Karen at that, which makes it even worse. The Native American girl, the whole bear scene turned into a mommy moment, and that was just so bad. It's so bad. I was the bear's been haunting her, right? The bear's doing things, and she's like, sit, stop, blah, blah, blah. She didn't say that, but that's kind of how it came off. And I was like, I need another beer. Like, we were at a cinema cafe, so you can drink beer. I was going to get shots. Even Mikey was like, that's kind of lame. So, yeah. Other than that, on TV, what have I been watching? There really hasn't been much I've been watching, unfortunately. As most of you may have recognized, I got a different background. I moved into a new house, and it's a lot bigger. So we're building the collectibles room. This is going to be my work office, and then we have the workshop. So we've been very busy getting all that together. So TV hasn't really been a huge thing for me lately, unfortunately. So that's why I'm so happy to be here with you. So we can talk comic books and talk shit, and nobody has to hate each other because we're adults.
You know, to go back a little bit and talk about like my last week, I said I didn't have a whole lot of time to watch TV or movies either, just because of everything going on. It seemed really weird to me because I was in the days all week long running errands for family members who displaced and stuff like that. It really hit me. I sit down the other Wednesday night, got my comics, first comics I've got in a while, you know, opened the first one up, and that smell of that comic book hit me.
Oh, yeah.
It seems so weird. I mean, we read comics all the time. You know, older comics have very distinct smell. Newer comics do have a smell too.
And then there's cat piss comics.
Yeah, there's smokers comics.
Yeah.
But it was really weird to me and something very normal and comforting to me. It's really weird. It's really weird that that comic book did that. Like that, the smell hit me, and I'm like, dude, I can kind of chill out and relax and enjoy something that I've been enjoying for a long time. What?
Double S brought up a good point, and I've seen that Tanya movie. Sebastian and Robbie was in there. Margaret Robbie. Harley Quinn. Yeah. I was listening to you. I wasn't blowing up, but when he said that, when he put that in there, I was like, oh, yeah, they were in that movie together. Yeah.
And my son was shocked I knew what a Karen was.
I call my wife Karen. It drives her crazy.
Oh, really?
Like when she gets to complaining about something in a store or something, I'm like, God, you're such a Karen. She's like, don't you call me a Karen? I was like, Karen.
Okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and bounce out of here. If you catch a show and a rewind, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let us know what you read this week. Let us know if we're right or wrong about any of the reviews that we did. Is there something we missed that we didn't talk about tonight? Let us know down below. What do you think of Superman? What do you think of Henry Cavill coming back in and taking over that role again? Any of the stuff we talked about tonight, you catch a rewind, leave it in a comment below, and we'll discuss it after that too. So definitely do that.
And remember, if you disagree with me, you're probably wrong.
Oh yeah, that Drew's right. Definitely check us out on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. I think that's it. Whether you blast it with a Shash, happy reading, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks all for showing up. Later. Where's my brand? Where is it? Here it is.